Have you ever gone through the holidays and felt like you missed out on the spirit of the season because you were so busy planning meals, getting groceries, and feeling stressed out? I have been there. My name is Cassie Joy Garcia. I am a New York Times bestselling author of The Most Clever Way to Meal Prep You've Ever Seen. And on this channel, I share with you my time-saving tips, budget hacks, and my best recipes. Today, I'm showing you part 2 of how to get ahead for the holidays. The 3 tips I have for you today. Number 1 is how to beat the hustle and bustle of the grocery store and making sure you get all of your groceries before they sell out. Next up, I'm going to show you how to prepare your raw veggie sides in advance so that they're still fresh and crisp when you're ready to plate them. And then lastly, I'm going to show you a trick on how to prep a large batch friendly cocktail in advance to where the flavor and the experience is still top notch. This first tip goes out to you if you've ever been to the grocery store a day or 2 days before a big event and you've already planned your menu and you're walking around and everything's sold out. And you're thinking in the grocery store, you're like, I have to redo my whole menu because I can't find sweet potatoes, I can't find butternut squash, everything is picked clean. So what I'm going to give you is the best, it's going to change your shopping life when it comes to the holidays and it's gonna make you feel so much less stressed. So when it comes to looking at your grocery list, once you've got all your groceries written down, I want you to break it up into 2 sections. The first section, which is over here on this side, and you can see this is the larger section, that's good news. The first section is everything that you can buy about 2 weeks minimum before the big day. So these are going to be things like our pantry items, our potatoes. Grab your sweet potatoes and your fresh potatoes. Grab your onions and your garlic. All of that can be bought about 2 weeks before the big day when everything is in stock. So get those. Things like canned goods, canned pumpkins. If you're making a pumpkin pie or something else of the like and you've ever gone to the grocery store and they've been out of canned pumpkin, I've been there. And then I had to buy a baking pumpkin and make my own pumpkin puree, which is now a how-to tutorial on fedandfit.com because I had to do it 1 year. Get it while they're in stock. You can get that, you can get it now. You can get that months in advance. Get your chicken stock. If you're not gonna make your own, go ahead and grab that. Weeks in advance, you can get your nuts and your seeds. Get the good chocolate chips, the Goutards. These are my favorite chocolate chips. Get the good ones while they're in stock. Other things, flour. If you're picky about the kind of baking flour you like, the cup, for example, I'm gluten-free, which tends to sell out in the stores around the holidays. Go ahead and grab that in advance. Grab your sugars, weeks, if not months in advance. I love these Knick graham crackers, gluten-free graham crackers. I use them to make my no-bake crusts. So if I'm doing like a pumpkin mousse pie, for example, I want to make sure I've got the best graham crackers for it. And these will sell out because word's out that this makes the best crust. Grab these well in advance, try to avoid snacking on them. And then the last category of things that you can buy well in advance are all of our frozen foods. So all of our frozen peas, if you're making peas for the holidays, frozen butternut squash, grab those now. They will keep in the freezer for months. Go ahead and get them ahead of time. And then last but not least would be meats. Now obviously this is just frozen ground pork, but go ahead, if you're roasting a turkey or you're roasting a chicken or you're doing a beef roast and you're buying it fresh, you can freeze it. Prepare it to freeze it so that it's ready to go. And you're not going to the butcher and saying, what do you have left for me? And having to make up your menu on the fly. Get what you want well in advance and then freeze it. And then, once you have all of that, look, all you have left to buy when it comes time to the holiday rush are gonna be your fresh vegetables, and these are usually stocked pretty well in abundance. I recommend getting these 2 to 4 days before your big event, right? 4 days would be the most I would stretch it for these fresh things, and 2 days would be as close as I would cut it, because when you get in that 2-day window, some things might be sold out. So these are things like kale, our leafy greens, our fresh herbs, the rosemary, the parsley, and then fresh vegetables and fresh fruits. So for example, my pears, I wanna make sure that these are just right for the holidays. There you go, divide up your list into 2 sections, what you can get well in advance and what you can get fresh, and then go to the store twice. You won't miss a thing this way. Next up, we're going to talk about prepping a main component of your meal. So if you've ever hosted a large group of people before, you've probably thought through, it'd be a good idea to get some stuff done in advance. You probably think about making your dessert in advance. But did you know that you can actually make your raw vegetable side, parts of it, in advance? And what that means is that when the day rolls around, maybe it's Thanksgiving Day, maybe it's Christmas Day, you name it, you have already done a lot of this prep work, so this side dish comes together so fast. There's two kinds that I want to walk you through. A side salad, and I'm using a very festive side salad example to show you today, and then a slaw. Slaws are one of my favorite veggie sides to make in advance. So what I like to do, there are a couple components that we can do in advance. Number one, we'll start with the slaw over here. This winter veggie coleslaw is one of my favorite dishes. The recipe is linked below. And I make this, I'm not joking you, every single year for Thanksgiving and Christmas. If it's a potluck, this is the dish I volunteer to bring because it's so delicious and so easy to pull together in advance. So what I've got in here is I've pre-chopped my kale. So I've destemmed the kale and I have very finely chopped that kale up. So that's ready to go. And this can be done 2 to 3 days in advance. Do it, and then I like to actually keep it in the bowl I'm gonna serve it in. I've pre-chopped all of my cabbage. This is a purple cabbage that I've really thinly sliced. And then I've made my ribbons out of the carrot. The carrot ribbons are mostly for fun. You could also use julienne carrots if you wanna really save on time, but these are really fun and festive in this slaw. These are my 3 main ingredients in this slaw, and I like to store them in the actual bowl I'm going to serve at that dinner so that it's ready to go. I will wrap this and cover it in the fridge. So that's done. So that's one thing you can do. And the other thing that you can, and the toppings on this slaw, y'all, is so good. So we use fresh pomegranates, and I went ahead and splurged for the already separated pomegranate arils. So these are ready to go. I'm just gonna drain those and then I'll sprinkle them on day of. Another key is for your raw veggies, if they have a dressing, is to do not dress until you're ready to serve, but you can make the dressing in advance. And so what I've done is I've pre-made the fabulous dressing. You are gonna wanna put this dressing on so many things. You're gonna wanna make it on repeat. Of course, it's great on the slaw, but it's great on lots of things. I've pre-made my dressing in this little mason jar, and I just give it a shake when I'm ready to plate it. And then I also have for the crunch on this salad, I like to use cashews. And so I've got those pre-measured out. You can put them in a little baggie, you can put them in a jar, or heck, you could just keep it just like this and just nestle it in there. Because as long as the cashews aren't touching the rest of the vegetables, they won't get soggy. They'll stay nice and crisp. Cover this up and you have your salad ready to go. And then when you're ready to pull it together, the day of, 10 minutes before dinner, you sprinkle, you pour, you toss, done. The other example I want to walk you through is this really festive, delicious salad. This is one of my mom's favorites. And what it calls for is a bunch of mixed greens as the base. So really, really simple mixed greens. And then we're going to top it with some freshly chopped pears, so yummy, some candied pecans, which of course I made in advance. I'll walk you through that in a second. Some goat cheese and then some dried cranberries. It is such a fun, festive, wintry salad. And the things that you can do in advance here. So I like to actually take my greens as part of the prep. I don't need to do much with these, but I'll put them right in the bowl that I plan on serving it and keep this in the fridge so that my serving platter's already done and ready to go. And I will just pull this out of the package and dump it in. And then I also keep my goat cheese. I splurge, I got pre-crumbled goat cheese, so that's ready to go. I keep it with the bowl all together. I have my cranberries pre-measured out, and again, put them in a little baggie. You can keep them in a bowl, a jar, whatever floats your boat. That way you're not rummaging for things. Keep all of this together. My pears, it's fine, keep them in the fridge, especially if they're the right consistency, they're not overly ripe or too hard. And then my dressing, I pre-made this lemon honey poppy seed dressing is so delicious. It's so great on the salad. So I've got that pre-mixed in my little jar. And then this is the star of the show. There's no two ways about it. These candied pecans are so incredible and they're really fun, very, very easy to make. The recipe is linked below. And what I would recommend doing is making these, you can make these a couple weeks in advance if you're gonna keep them on the countertop. Or you could make them months in advance, up to 5 months in advance if you're going to freeze them. So I made them, let them cool, broke them up, put them in a large mason jar, and I'm going to keep these in the fridge next to these other salad ingredients, and this is our crunch for the salad. There you go. This is going to make pulling together your vegetable side so easy and so fast so that you can spend more time with your guests. Okay, this last category is really just a fun one, but if you've ever wanted to serve up a really fun festive drink at a big gathering, you're my kind of person. I love doing something like that. And you can make some of these things in advance so that it's very fast and easy on the day of. So what I'm showing you today is actually one of the most popular cocktail recipes on fedandfit.com. It's called the Harvest Sparkle. And if you know, you know. So delicious and very potent. I'm gonna give you a mocktail trick at the end of this, so stay tuned for that. And so it comes in 3 parts, this Harvest Sparkle. It has a syrup. It is a honey spiced syrup that is the star of the show, which we mix with a little whiskey, brandy, whatever you've got on hand, and then we top it off with a little bubbly. I have this cute little bitty bubbly one because I'm just making a couple servings today, but obviously this is a big batch friendly cocktail so that you can get a big old batch of Prosecco or other bubbly. And the trick to making this in advance is this syrup. You can make this syrup up to 1 week in advance and store it in your refrigerator. This syrup is so easy and so delicious. It has honey as the base, so all this is sweetened with honey. It has some orange juice in it and then spices, cloves, cinnamon, ginger. It's so delicious. You let that, oh, I just took the lid off. It smells so good. So there's no alcohol in this syrup. So this is a great syrup to make if you have folks who are going to be drinking alcohol and folks who would prefer a zero proof cocktail, or mocktail. And I would just use sparkling water and either skip the brandy or use another zero proof alcohol free spirit. I'm going to pour this, a trick for you. So I like to store my syrup in a jar, but upon serving, I like to pour it into a little beaker or something, a measuring cup that has a little spout so it's easier to pour because we only need a little bit in each glass, and then you're ready to go. Party's on. Have fun. Other drinks that are great to prep in advance or great for festive holiday gatherings, we'll have all these linked below, but we also have a cranberry sangria, a cranberry margarita that is so good. We also have an apple cider sangria and an apple cider margarita. There is a harvest mule that is really fabulous. I think I also have a mulled wine on the website that is so delicious, and it's gonna make your house smell just incredible. So I hope this gives you some great inspiration. Thanks so much for following along, and be sure to look below for the link to the holiday prep part 1, where I walk you through how to prep starchy sides in advance. I walk you through a couple other tips. Don't miss it. It is going to be so helpful.